Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. I said the next time you'd see this thing and be running, and I'm a man of my word. Fuel pump, carburetor, she runs. Idling a little rich. But she idles. So there you go. Motor runs, sounds okay. Totally went smoothly. No, it didn't. Yesterday morning, the transmission was on the floor of the garage. So let me tell you about the mistakes I've made. These Fords have a plate that sits between the engine and the transmission, the dowel plate. I had it in there. I didn't forget the dowel plate, which does happen. But what the dowel plate does is it locates the starter motor in the right position relative to the flywheel. I didn't know there was a difference between automatic and manual dowel plates. So I had the automatic in there. That's why I was struggling to find a starter that fit. And when I started this thing up, there was such a racket, I thought the bottom end was coming apart. And I don't mean coming apart like Julie Armand in Legends of the Fall. I mean coming apart like Sharon Stone in Casino. It was bad. But I kept it running and went and felt around underneath, and it didn't feel like it was coming from the crankcase. It felt like it was coming from the bell housing. So then, you know, doing some thinking, talking to Phil from Harman Customs, I kind of just dawned on me, I think I have the wrong dowel plate. So I had to take I ordered the dowel plate from Tom's, took the transmission apart, got the dowel plate in yesterday. Last night I put it in, and yeah, now no more racket. So it's running good. Let me give you an update on everything else I've done since the last time you've seen it. I think much has changed here. I did finish the plumbing on the radiator, just with an adapter to go from the 1.5 to the 1 3/4. You know, there's fluid and everything is on here. I did get this air cleaner. This one fits. I don't love it, but it works for now. Windshield squirters are on. Yeah. I finished the interior other than the seats, which I still am waiting for upholstery for. Got the new seat belts all around, all the stock style with the retractable. Got the shifters in. That's the B&M short throw shifter for the AX15. I had to bend it, so below the boot line, I took a torch and bent it closer to me because it was kind of far away. Yeah, I don't know, was the steering on? I don't remember. I got the steering stabilizer on there. I had to drill holes for that. Thank you again, Phil, for shooting me a photo of where those holes go. And the steering's all connected and tightened up and cotter pinned and everything. I also, before I took the transmission out, I measured for the drive shafts, so I took those over to Drivelines Northwest. So I should have those back by Monday, which means by Monday I should be able to drive this thing. We'll see. What I'm doing now is my gauges don't work. John from Nashville Early Bronco, he did a great video on fuel gauges, and he got into the issue of the voltage regulator. They have a constant voltage regulator, these old gauge clusters. Mine was dead. It transmitted no power. I had one that came on the Bronco, so I'd bought this gauge cluster from eBay because they'd already done the ammeter to voltmeter conversion. That voltage regulator was dead. So I pulled the cluster out, verified that the individual, I put like a 9-volt battery to each of the gauges. They all work. So, and then the voltage regulator didn't let anything through. So I took the voltage regulator off of the gauge cluster that came on this Bronco, and everything just pegs out to max. So that's bad. So I got a solid state one, and we're gonna test both of them side by side right now so you can see the difference. Okay, I've got the 2 voltage regulators here. This is the old one, this is the new one. The one from Tom's, it's a Scott Drake model. So the way I'm gonna test this is I'm gonna take a lead. So I'm gonna put this on the output, which is the female lead on here. I'm gonna put this on here. I got it to volts DC, and it's letting through full voltage. So there's literally no drop. Now I'm gonna reverse the leads just to make sure I'm not doing this wrong. And if I am, that means it's wired, the painless wiring is wrong. Full voltage all the way through. That is incorrect. So now we're gonna do this to the new one. So that's a slight drop in voltage. It should be a lot less though. All right, let's key on. Voltage is reading 12 volts. Fuel isn't reading anything. Let's see if I can get some oil pressure on this thing. I'm getting no reading on my three gauges here. I mean, temp is low, but I'm still not getting oil pressure, and I'm still not getting anything on my fuel. So I don't know what's going on. I know I have oil pressure. I need to set that idle a little higher. Still no oil pressure or fuel. So that didn't do it. Did I wire this thing correctly? Maybe I wired my gauges incorrectly. I probably need to open the garage. I'm looking at the painless diagram, and it's got the power on the left of each gauge. That's the black and white. That's coming from the constant voltage regulator. On the left side of the voltage regulator, correct? Yeah.
Oh, one of them is not plugged in. I'm sure that's not helping me.
That was fuel, so let's see if we can get the fuel gauge to read something. I'm waiting to see if the fuel is climbing slowly. Nope. It's got fuel, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to run through the checks that John had to see if I'm getting the right resistance, but I'm not getting an oil pressure. Okay, I've been messing around with it for a while, and I figured out I had some wiring wrong. So I've got this, it's showing fuel now. It's showing oil pressure even though the car's off. Now the oil pressure's climbing, and I'm showing some temp. With the gauges fixed, that's a lot of the punch list stuff is done. I need to drain some coolant because I just have water in there now, and I need to put coolant in. Need to do the weather stripping and get my drive shafts, and I'm ready to drive this thing. And guess what? While I was filming, FedEx truck pulled up. I got my upholstery. So I got my work cut out for me. Not sure if I'm gonna do it myself yet or not. I'm gonna take a look and see what it's like. And I'm also gonna tune this thing a little bit. You know, now that it's warm, I can figure out their fuel and idle and timing and all that stuff. But we're gonna drive this thing next time on Matt's Garage.